Gig Game is the Netflix of AI-powered social casual gaming, built for bars, restaurants, trade shows, corporate team building, and nonprofits for fundraising. Hi, I'm Jason Bramble, developer and founder of Gig Game Corp, and I'm excited to show you what we've been working on. Our plan transforms real-world spaces into interactive entertainment experiences. And the best part? Everything's played directly from your mobile phone. No apps, no hardware, just scan and play. We're launching a suite of original games designed to bring people together in fun, fast, and unforgettable ways. So now, let's take a look at the Gig Game Trivia Game Show Builder and where the real magic happens. So what you're seeing in front of you is the gig.game website at www.gig.game. The first thing you want to do to get to the Trivia Game Show Builder is click on the Game Hub. That's where all our games are stored. And if you don't have an account, you're just going to have to real quick create an account, provide your phone number and email, but it's pretty simple. It only takes 5 minutes to complete and it's free to do. Once you get in here, there's a couple ways you can go. You have this Trivia Game Show Builder here that you can click into, and you can from here hit Build a Game Show, or that's accessible through the side menu here, Question Catalogs, Game Templates, as well as up here this menu as well, Build a Game Show. All of them go to the same place. And initially you start out on this area where you're able to build questions. So you're able to make as many questions as you want, and you group these questions into what we call bundles, and then those bundles become your games. So to build a question, you also don't really have to know anything what you want to ask. You can have the AI build this for you, and I'm going to make a quick game on Florida, covering the cities of Tampa, Miami, Key West, and Orlando, and I'm just going to show you how I can make a quick game here as well as a quick question. So let's first make a question. I'm going to hit Add Question. Well, before we actually do that, notice here we have categories. So when you first come into this thing, you're not going to have any categories. Every question has to be in a category. So the first thing you should probably do if you have no categories is go in here, and it's easy to add whatever categories you want. And this is just how you're going to categorize your game. What everything's going to be in. If you're just going to be just a game with like 5 questions and no real categories and only one round, just make a general category to put things in. And in the case, you can see I already have some categories defined. So I'm going to go into Add a Question. And what I'm going to do is, I'm coming in this, I don't really know a good question off the top of my head. So I'm going to suggest one. I'm going to click AI Assist. And it's going to basically say, hey, what category you want to use? Well, I'm going to do Key West. How difficult do I want to make the question? I'm going to say, let's say hard. And it says, give me a specific subject of the question. It could be anything. So, one of the things I know they have down at Key West is they always have those roosters. So I'm going to put roosters in Key West. And that's all let's say, that's the subject. And hit Create. And notice this came back with a question. In Key West, roosters are protected under local laws. Which of the following actions is specifically forbidden by these laws? And the correct answer is C, capture and relocation of roosters. Now, there's a couple things you should realize. When this went out and this actually generated this question, it does a couple different passes because, AI, everybody knows, it hallucinates a little bit. So the first pass it goes through is it creates a subject. Second pass it goes through is to validate the subject, or actually it's a fact. It goes through and validates the fact. Then it creates a question, then it revalidates the question. So this is going through a number of gates in order to get to this point, and it's relatively safe to say this is accurate at this point. So the one thing we're missing now is an image. I could upload an image if I have it locally, that's not a problem. But again, let's say I don't have an image. So I'm going to click AI Assist up here, and it's going to say AI Assist Image Builder. Now, it's really cool. We have access to all kinds of different image formats. So I'm going to just pick, let's say comic book. And I'm going to enter a suggestion, rooster in Key West, and hit Create. And here we come back. We got a rooster in Key West in a comic book style, and that looks pretty good, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and accept it. If we didn't like it, we could always give another suggestion, tell it to regenerate by hitting Create again. But I'm going to take this. I'm going to accept it. And then before I save this, I want to show one last thing. Notice this top box, I'm currently defaulted to English, which is defaulted to whatever your language setting is in the HUD. We support multiple languages. So if I change this to, let's say, Spanish, and I generated this question, it actually would have came out in Spanish. So I can make a Spanish-based game, and even the dialogue, when we get to that later, will be spoken in Spanish. So we support a number of different languages out of the box. All right, just wanted to point that out. So I'm going to hit save. All right, so we're going to actually pick, I'm going to just pick 3 of these questions. So I'm going to take, where's the one we just did? See, oh yeah, but down here I want to have more than 10 show. I'm going to expand that out so I see all of them. All right, so I'm going to take, here's our Key West Rooster one, and I'm going to take this one in Miami. I'm going to take this one Orlando, and I'm going to take this one in Tampa. Now, here's the thing. You can select hundreds, thousands of questions if you want to build them. There is really no limit on you with what you can do. Or you can say, I just want to do 5. Or you can say, I want to do 10. You can build rounds out. You can just say, I don't want rounds. I just want to have these questions asked in this specific order. It's very up to you how you want to do it. And I'm going to show this. So we're going to take this. We have a few already selected. If you saw a warning by any of these questions, it means that you don't have an image on it. In order to use these within the game, all questions must have an image. So just to put that out there, although all these are perfectly fine. All right, and then now that we have these selected, we're going to go hit bundle. Now let's have one more. I just want to add one more here. I'm going to do another Orlando. And I'm going to hit bundle. And I'm going to name my bundle. I'm going to call it Florida is Amazing. And you can tell I'm very full of Florida. I live here. I've lived here for a long time. Create. All right, you see it's created it. At this point, brought us into the bundle. And if we go look through here, the game structure, it's created 3 rounds for us. We don't need to have the 3 rounds. It kind of does that by default, but we can add more rounds if we want to. We can say how many points there are, whether this round is all easy questions, average, hard, or even expert level questions. Point decay has to do with if, this is a 10-point question round, but the user took half the time to answer it, they're only going to get 5 points. So the points decrease the longer you take, which is really good if you have somebody looking up answers on their mobile phone, because that means the time they're wasting looking up answers are losing points on it, and it kind of penalizes them. We have topic backgrounds. For every one of these categories, we can give a different background here. So we'll just choose a couple real quick. Well, right now they're all defaulting to this purple blue, but just to kind of show you, I can change it to this here. I'm going to have like this here, just to show that this changes. Not really thinking too much about this. Actually, I do want to have that. And I do want this to be that. That's perfect. Okay, so I set my backgrounds. This is the order the questions are being asked in. So if I didn't have rounds and I was asking the question straight out, saying take them as they are ordered, this is how they would be asked. So I can specifically control the order, which is great if you want to say, hey, this question is going to lead into the next question. All right. And let's go back to game info. We could type in the description. This is a game about Florida, the state I love. All right. And visual theme, we're going to just choose corporate blue for right now. Background music, we have a couple different options. You have Lounge Lover. You also have Midnight Caravan, which is a new one we just added. And we're going to be adding a lot more coming soon. In fact, this whole area, expect in the near future to see expanded out. Not being more than a drop-down list, we're going to have it be an entire thing that you can open up and actually go through, listen to the individual songs, and there'll end up being a couple hundred on there. Any case, we need to make an image. Same thing, like we have an AI assist here. Let's go. We did a comic book before, I believe, so let's do the same thing here again. Comic book, and I'm picking a Florida map with flamingo. All right, and I'm going to create. And look at that. We got a Florida map with a flamingo in a comic book style. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And that's actually been put there. So the next thing we want to do is let's talk about host voice and dialogue. Let's switch over to that tab. This is the host, the AI host that is going to host your game. And we have a bunch to pick from. So you can have one host, you can have multiple hosts, you can add secondary characters on this. You can create situations. You can say that these two people are devout Christians and they like to bring the good word into their show. You can say that these two people were dating and they broke up right before the game show, which was a funny thing. There's a lot. The choices are endless. You can make any type of scenario you can imagine, and that's going to be incorporated into the game show. So right now we're defaulting on Ricky Ray, and you can hear what he sounds like.
I'm Ricky Ray, part velvet voice, part beachside charm.
All right, we're going to pick somebody else. We're going to pick, my favorite is Dr. Felix.
I am Dr. Felix. I speak with precision. Emotion is inefficient.
Okay, so we're going to use him. And we can have a secondary voice. I'm going to leave that off right now. If you want to add secondary characters too, you can have them pop in. If you're familiar with Would I Lie, you'll know that we have lots of characters on that are all dialoguing with each other. But this right here, this is the general setting for the entire game. So one of the things that we can do too, if we go over to dialogue, you'll notice here now we have start, intro, rounds, category, question, score, ending. These are all the different parts of the game itself. The start is, of course, what happens before the intro of the game. The intro is where it's like, welcome to our game, yada, yada, yada. And rounds is when they're announcing rounds. Categories, where you pick your category. Questions are the individual questions themselves. If I clicked on that, you would end up seeing all the questions. You can control each individual one. Rounds, you can see each individual round. The score is when they announce the scores, and the ending is the game's over, thanks for joining us, folks, and they walk off. Now, why I'm pointing this out is you have explicit control here over all the dialogue. You can manually here click add script and build out the script with your characters, saying line by line exactly what they're going to say. You have that level of control. But you can also do some other cool things here too, when you say, you know what, I want to have a lot of variety. Let's say that, Would I Lie, when you start it up, every time that game starts, it has a different opening. Here's how we do that. There's this concept in here called generate situationals. So it's here, and you'll see start dialogue overrides. And if I open it, this is just like that other default screen that we've shown. And notice in addition, select wait down here at the bottom. I can basically override this specific section saying that I want to have these people and I want to have this situation occur and have them talk about it. All right, and I can write whatever I want. There's an argument over such and such. Barney, for example, if I used him as a character, I could say that he walked on stage wearing a new flamingo coat and thinks it's the coolest thing he got from some kind of thrift shop. Whatever, you can make these situations up. And I put these up, or you can even just say that, be very general with it and let the AI figure it out too. And the reason why the weights are there is that you can add multiple situationals and then come in here and say generate dialogue and say generate 50 of them. And it will generate 50 different of these dialogues, all using those different situationals at random based upon their weights. So what you end up having in the end is 50 different variations, entries to your game, that each time the player comes in is different, and the situations can all be different, and it gives a lot of variety. It gives the impression that this game is a lot bigger than it maybe actually is. It eliminates the repeats. Anyway, that's the detailed advanced way. You can go through this and do this in every one. You can do it down to the question level if you want to. There's a lot of control in here. Or the easy way of doing it is when you're on host dialogue, you just say, I don't really want that detail. I just wanted to figure it out for me. So I picked Dr. Felix voice that's precise, and I just leave it at that at this host and voice setting. And what I do is I go up to build and publish. This is the simple way of doing it if you don't want to go through all those voices. And here I can say, okay, I just want you to build one start, one host introduction. So essentially by having one, it's always going to be the same thing every time it goes into it. I can have the options of building multiple. Now you'll notice here it says there's this concept of tokens, and it says how many tokens this is going to take to generate, right? AI tokens are simply our way of trying to control AI costs, because every time we are generating this stuff, we're making calls in the background to various AI engines and AI voice engines, and that kind of adds up, especially as we grow in terms of a service. So we're just giving the flexibility for you to control however you want to do that. And by the way, this is a one-time generation and reuses many times. So when you pay this 5,610 tokens to build this game, That's the only time you're going to have to do it. You're going to be able to play it an infinite number of times, and you'll never pay for anything more than that. And by the way, in terms to give you an idea how much tokens cost, about 10,000 tokens is $10. So roughly, this is going to be a little bit over a $5 game. Okay. All right. So let's just show how this works. I'm going to tell it I wanted to generate all the dialogue, generate all the voice, and publish the game for play. And by the way, you don't need a dialogue or voice for this to work. These games can play completely without any sound at all, and you can even advance them manually if you wanted to, just like a traditional trivia that you might see on Kahoot or Growlper. So, no, you could say, you know what, I don't even want to pay for anything, and just completely, actually take this off here and just say publish it as is, and it will go ahead and do it for you. And that's now 0 tokens. Okay. So anyway, I want to show the full thing, so I'm going to build it all out. And I'm going to hit start. And we're back. So you can see that it just ended. It came back. The top screen changed to now play and unpublished, so we can actually go play this game. If you come in here to your dialogue too, you can actually see the dialogue that was written for you. So at this point, you could even make changes. You can unlock it and make changes and regenerate the script to republish it if you want it. But it's really up to you. And just to kind of show you can even listen to it.
The radiant essence of Florida. Quite the enigma, wouldn't you say? Well,
so we're going to hear that in just a second. So let's actually go play this game to see what that looks like. Okay, so we are in the Trivia Game Show Builder player, and you'll see that we have a list of other games that I've built here, but there's Florida is Amazing. That's the one we just built. We have a couple settings over here on the right-hand side that we can set coming in here. Just to show you, we have enable music. We can turn music on and off. We can enable voice, pre-generate the AI. We enable voice that's using the pre-generated AI voice that we just made. We can disable voice. We can run this thing completely silent if we want to. We can turn profanity on or off, profanity filter on or off. So if you want to allow team names, you can decide if you want to kind of limit or put caps on those team names. It's really up to you how you want your environment to run. Right now, by default, it defaults to wait to start the game for a player to actually join. You can override that as a host. You can actually manually hit next and advance the game through, kind of like a PowerPoint slide if you really want to do that. You'll notice down here will turn into a next button when we're running it. But in this case, I'm going to say wait for a player to join or start it. Then you can say randomize categories. Player can choose categories. I'm going to do sequential, ask them in the order that we had. I'm going to do a single game round, or I could tell it to use the game rounds that I defined inside creating my game bundle. I just want to have 5 questions. Actually, let's right now take it to just 3 questions since it's a demo. We don't want to sit there and watch a 5-question game. But points per question, since that I'm actually doing a single game round, I can override the points, and I'm saying 10 questions, I'm allowing point decay. Over here, we have control over timing, how long it takes to ask certain, to go through certain screens. So let's say the intro takes minimum 15 seconds. That's obviously important if we don't have any audio going on, because the audio usually what determines how long something takes. But if we have no audio, no sound, we want to tell it to at least sit on that screen for 15 seconds. Over here, ads, if we go back to my game event, we can actually upload MP3s, upload images, upload MP4 videos, and then you can come in here once that library is created and add that into your game, and what will happen is that will actually show as in-game ads. So you can set this thing up to run continuously throughout the day, starting after 60 seconds, so 30 seconds or 60 seconds of being idle, and then show ads in between rounds, show ads at the end of the game if it's just a sequential order of questions. Those ads can be whatever you want. I mean, they don't even have to be ads. They could just be just some kind of announcement. It's really whatever. This is really just a tool for you to be able to use in your classroom, inside your bar, your pub, whatever. Okay, so we're going to start a game just to show what it looks like here. I'm going to hit launch. And at this point, this is the screen that comes up here. You would want to put that up on your TV. So I'm going to click the start. I'm going to log in. I'm going to hit join game. And I'm not going to create a team. I'll call it Mr. Amazing. Create my team.
Are the radiant essence of Florida. Quite the enigma, wouldn't you say? Where else could one find such a fascinating mixture of ecosystems and eccentrics? Did you know, for example, that the Florida Everglades is the only place on Earth where alligators and crocodiles coexist harmoniously? Fascinating, isn't it? A botanical conundrum and zoological phenomenon all in one. Of course, some might argue that the real marvel of Florida is its people.
Now, this is the start section of the game. This is the point where you can actually have a little bit of an intro. Within Would I Lie, we use this to have a little bit of comedy, have some backstage antics before the game actually starts like it's a real game show. You don't even have to have a start section if you want to jump right into the intro. If you remember when we built the game, we could have specified 0. So that's what would happen if you specified 0. It would just jump right into the intro. But this, you can have a little fun here. You know, do a little intro, whatever your questions are going to be.
Welcome to Florida is Amazing, broadcasting live to you. I am your host, Dr. Felix, here to guide you through the wonderful complexities of the Sunshine State. Whether you're a seasoned Floridian or a curious outsider, we are thrilled to have you with us today. A special welcome to our players who will compete to prove their knowledge about the state I love. To our potential players tuning in, if you wish to join the game, I invite you to take hold of your mobile device and scan the QR code located in the lower left corner of your screen. And with that procedural necessity concluded, it's now time to commence the show. Let us proceed. The question category is Orlando, which was the first major professional sports franchise based in the city of Orlando. A rather straightforward inquiry for those with even a passing familiarity with sports history. Now let us consider the options. A. Orlando Storm. B. Orlando City SC. C. Orlando Pride. D. Orlando Magic. E. Orlando Predators. F. Orlando Solar Bears. Given the options, one might deduce the correct answer based on historical prominence. What do you think? The correct answer, as some of you might have rightly concluded, is D, Orlando Magic. Established in 1989, the Orlando Magic was indeed the inaugural major professional sports franchise to grace the city of Orlando. The other options, while perhaps significant in their own right, lack the historical seniority and impact that the Magic hold. The Orlando Magic's establishment marked a pivotal moment in the city's sporting history, lending it a piece of the professional sport.
Now, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a picture icon on your controller. What that is, that allows you to send an image to the HUD. Let's go ahead and do that. You can see how it works.
The question category is Tampa. Which Hollywood actor celebrated for his...
And there we are, the photo showing on the HUD. One of the things as a host you can do is you can actually disable this feature, or you can even set it to be moderated, or just leave it open to run on its own. So you have a couple choices here, but it's a really cool feature. And you get to download all the photos as the host to use on your social media afterwards.
A. Chris Hemsworth. B. Channing Tatum. C. Johnny Depp. D. Brad Pitt. E. Matthew McConaughey. F. Ryan Reynolds. So what do you think? The correct answer is B, Channing Tatum. This should come as no surprise to those familiar with both his filmography and his origins. Channing Tatum, an actor renowned for his mesmerizing portrayal in the film Magic Mike, was indeed born in Tampa, Florida. An interesting piece of trivia, wouldn't you say? The other actors, while notable in their own rights, have no such connection to Tampa. For instance, Chris Hemsworth hails from Australia. Johnny Depp was born in Kentucky. Brad Pitt in Oklahoma, Matthew McConaughey in Texas, and Ryan Reynolds in Canada. Geography can often mislead if one assumes Hollywood equates to Californian origins. So, did you get it right? The question question category is Miami. In which year did Miami host the significant free trade area of the Americas negotiations? A pivotal moment indeed, perhaps underappreciated by the masses, but quite crucial in the grand scheme of global economic structuring. The options for you are A, 1999, B, 2003, C, 2005, D, 2001, E, 2007, F, 2000. What do you think? The correct answer is B, 2003. Miami played host to the significant free trade area of the Americas negotiations in that year. These negotiations were crucial in the context of international trade, aiming to reduce trade barriers across the Americas. Such discussions helped shape policies that affect trade frameworks today, highlighting Miami's role not just as a cultural hub, but as a vital player in economic discussions. So, did you get it right? Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed listeners, welcome to the conclusion of today's electrifying episode of Florida is Amazing. I am Dr. Felix, your host, and I must say, what an intellectually riveting journey we have embarked upon together. To our brave contestants who dared to face the complexities of Florida's astonishing phenomena, my sincerest commendations. Your participation has been both appreciated and invaluable in exploring the depths of the Sunshine State's marvels. As we draw the curtains on this episode, allow me to extend my gratitude to our listeners who tune in with rapt attention. Your engagement fuels the intellectual fire that keeps Florida is Amazing an outstanding paradigm of cerebral entertainment. Remember, every corner of Florida holds a mystery waiting to be unearthed, and we are here to unravel it one fact at a time. Join us again next time as we delve into more fascinating enigmas. Until then, remain curious and question everything.
And there you go. And you see I'm at the top of the leaderboard here. Now, this leaderboard, as long as you have your game event open, which could be an hour, a day, a month, however long you want, it will track the top scores and constantly rank them. And this is really useful, especially let's say you're a bar or a restaurant and you want to encourage your patrons to keep returning over the course of a period of time. You can say the top score for this month is going to get a free gift card or something like that. So it kind of takes the concept of these old style video games with leaderboards and uses it as a way to encourage patrons to return and repeat business. And the other thing too, let me shut this down. See, we can start it again. I'm going to stop the game here. I'm going to go back to my game event. This is actually the game event. It skips over this when you instantly go play, but you can always come back to this and hit the open game console and it'll take you right back into that screen. But in here is where you're uploading your ads. So here's the game assets that you would upload. You notice I didn't have any, so I didn't show that. But photo gallery, this shows all the photos that get uploaded by your players while they're actually playing the game. Where you saw my image pop up briefly, this is where they go to. And at this point, I can click yes and I can download them. I can use them on my social media feed, whatever I want. The other thing too is you'll notice I can download my QR code here. If I want to print it out and put it up around for people just to join, I can set this game event up ahead of time if I want to. Download participation data. This actually will download a list of your players, their phone numbers, and all these players are opted in. So you can use that as a contact list to follow up. It's a way of getting leads. So imagine you're at a trade show, you have this set up, you've created a trivia question on all your products, people come along, they play it, you've just captured their information. Okay, so that's what that is. And again, you can brand your events. So when I logged into the game, it came up with a generic image of the application itself, but you could upload your own image here, put in a title and description, and when people are logging into your game on their controllers, that will show instead. And this where and when in the concept of actually making a game public or not, Let's see where that is. Sorry, your share permission. I give permission to feature my public game event for promotional purposes. We're eventually going to be building out an area where all this stuff shows, so you're going to actually see a list of current game events that are happening around the country. So that's a kind of a feature statement that's been built to support that. In any case, that's where we are right now. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out with me. I like being interactive with our customers, and I love getting your feedback and hearing how we can make this better for you. So until then, have a great day and keep playing. Take care.